Hello and welcome to the Uncockables for another week. I'm Tim Wilms, Editor-in-Chief of the Unshackled, and I'm joined in the studio as always by David Hiscox, Editor of the XYZ.
Always a pleasure to be here, Tim. Thanks for having
And
me.
we've got from Brisbane, none other than the Dusty Bogan. How are you?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we haven't had you on in a while, and you're somebody who the people in the live chat have quite the opinion on. So they have an opinion. They have an opinion on basically every contributor we have on the Uncockables.
So they should. We're all different characters.
Mm.
We all have our own role to play.
Mm.
Yeah.
Though they've had
How
quite the
many-
ride, quite
how
the
many
ride the
trolls
last
are
year
in
thing.
there?
We had one troll a few weeks back, but then we recognised who they were and they've disappeared.
After they outed themselves. That was
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, because well, they knew they'd been busted. But yeah, all comments are welcome. All whatever.
Oh, so we're not censoring anti-climate change. We're not censoring climate denial on this show.
No, we're not like the conversation or the Guardian.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they'll those types of publications they'll deny a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, like white genocide.
Yeah. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory.
Yes, apparently.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so is
yeah.
that Ilhan Omar married her brother, even though there's more evidence this week that she did.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Okay. Are you going to show us the juicy goss? That's magnificent.
I-
I'd love for the Uncockables to become just a gossip show.
Well, political discussion these days and truth seeking is basically gossip now because there's so much that those in the elite circles and corporate media don't want us to know, and so we can dress it up in a way which will be like, you won't believe what we're uncovering tonight.
Yeah, that's it.
It's got to be all conspiracy theories and clickbait and gossip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just don't get me started on where Atlantis really is. But anyway,
On what?
Atlantis.
All right. Well, first we're going to start off with probably a mainstream story, and that is that Pauline Hanson, the One Nation leader, she's been able to secure from the Morrison Government a review into the family court system because she believes it's biased against fathers and there's too many cases of women making up accusations of domestic violence or sexual abuse. She's going to be deputy chair. It's a joint committee, and Kevin Andrews, former Abbott and Howard government minister, is going to be the chair of it. And this is
He's good value.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's sent the Guardian and the feminists and all the domestic violence campaigners into a mass triggering because it's going to put women and children at risk because it's going to give a platform to men's rights activists and fathers' rights activists.
They should be happy that we'll no longer have the sexism of low expectations. We actually hold women accountable for their actions and for their words. It'll be they should, like, if women are equal, then they should face punishment for making things up. That's a good thing for women, isn't it?
You're up in Pauline's state, Dusty. So you know that this is something that's One Nation they've been talking about for quite a while.
Yeah. So One Nation's been going on about this for years. I remember, must have been, I don't know, 2.5 years ago when my first time I actually made it on the news. Hey, old Malcolm Roberts. There was a what was it? There was a barbecue in Ipswich, right, put on by a group called 21 Fathers, and they were raising awareness that 21 fathers commit suicide a week because they lose access to their kids. You know what I mean? So Malcolm Roberts was there. A few Proud Boys rocked up, and the fucking media swarmed Malcolm Roberts. Like, this was an amazing thing to see. Hey, like, probably 8, 10 cameras in his face. They almost pushed the dude over a barbecue, right? And everyone fucking bolted. Everyone bolted. They saw the cameras coming for Malcolm. They're doing the bolt, and I was like, fuck this, I'm getting in. Went, stood next to Malcolm Roberts, and I'm like, mate, what he's saying is the truth. And I'm like, you, the mainstream media, you're the fucking liars. And I made it on the news. I was like, yes, so fucking good.
Well done.
I've just set us up on Entropy, which is the interactive software where you can ask us questions, you can participate in polls, and best of all, you can send us super chats, because this channel has got less than 1,000 subs, so we're not eligible for super chats. But Entropy, they take less of a cut than Google and YouTube is, so it's a win-win for everyone. And I've just set up the first poll question for the night, which is who is the better men's rights activist? Is it Pauline Hanson or Bettina Arndt? And
Are you trying to be ironic there?
well, that is actually the truth, because Pauline's been pushing this in the Parliament, and Bettina Arndt, she's been pushing this in the media for years. She's basically, this week she's been doing a victory lap. Bettina Arndt just basically posting Guardian articles saying, "Ha, triggered."
Yeah, fair enough. But like, don't you find it ironic that the two biggest MRAs are women?
Well, you can be an ally of the persecuted.
They're male allies.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll know that we've made progress when the two biggest MRAs are men.
Well, still the biggest feminists are women.
Yeah, well, naturally. Oh, hang on. Hardly.
Well, they still, like, are biologically women.
Yes. Barely, yeah. I wouldn't call them ladies.
Yeah, so, obviously, like, this is going to be a thorough review. It's not just an inquiry, because, I'm sure we've all heard horror stories from the family court system, and, fathers, being denied access to their children until they're 18. There have been cases where a father's been denied custody of their child because the mother, she wouldn't agree to joint custody. She wouldn't follow the law if that was the ruling, and so the court said, we may as well just give it all to the mother then, which is appalling. So basically, if you threaten to break the law, you get what you want. Yeah,
the family court, it's broken. I don't know if there's ever going to be a way to unbreak it though. Like the family court is broken because families are broken. Where I'm going with this is that since we've had no fault divorce, married couples can just break up.
Well, yeah, because it's no fault means that there doesn't have to be a reason. You just put irreconcilable silent differences.
Hang on, I'll talk you through this.
Okay. Irreconcilable differences.
Yes. Irreconcilable differences.
There's always a word that I just can't seem to pronounce on air. I did learn how to pronounce entropy, so I say it right now.
Yeah. So this is the thing though. Like, so if you divorce and there are children involved, it's a broken family, and it's always terrible for children, no matter what the age, whether they're young, whether they're teenagers, whether they're adults. It's terrible, and that's where our problem is. The very least we can do is bring back at fault divorce. Ideally, we could go back to basically a Christian Catholic system where you're not allowed to get divorced. I think people would be a lot more careful about whom they marry, and I think overall it would be better for society, because the thing that creates broken people is divorce. And so broken people are going to get divorced. So it's a downward spiral, and that's why we have a problem with the family court. Like, you're never actually going to fix it.
No. We've just got our first super chat from Senator Slayer, which is Neil Erickson, for $3. It says, Dave, make sure your phone is charged. Tim's phone is shit. Well, we're about to find out if Dave's phone is any better, because we are, in the future, we're going to have like a proper call-in system, but at the moment it's just the phone to the mics. Yeah. So I think that means that, Senator Slayer's going to call in later.
Okay. It'll be epic. What were you going to say, Dusty?
I'm pretty sure Jordan Peterson said, he said something like 80% of marriages, like, they go through that tough time, right?
Yeah.
And if they just stick it out they say it's like 85% of marriages that stick it out 5 years later after considering divorce. If they stick it out, 85% will say they're happier, and our marriage has worked out. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like everyone goes through fucking tough times.
Yes.
Like that's just life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like as you know, every dude who's married understands his wife's like.
You're married, Dusty.
Yeah, successfully married. I think we've been together, I don't know, 11 years we've been together. So,
do you have children?
Not yet. We're going to start soon.
Beauty.
We had a miscarriage at the start of the year, so that was a bit fucking sad, but it was all good, you know what I mean? We're going to keep going, and we'll hopefully fall pregnant by the end of the year or something.
His wife's a beautiful blonde girl. She's very... Dusty's posted a few photos on Instagram from time to time. He's done well.
Very good work, Dusty.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah. Plough those wheat fields.
Now, the theme of the night is the courts, because there's a lot going on in the courts at the moment. We just got a news alert yesterday that George Pell, he's firing his last shot in his appeal against his child sex conviction. He lost his appeal in the Supreme Court of Appeal. He's now going to the High Court of Australia because, well, the first jury in the county court was hung. The second one found him guilty. And then at the appeals court, 2 of the 3 Supreme Court justices upheld the jury verdict. There was one who said that he should be, all the convictions should be quashed. So it's not all over yet, but it's been the most divisive criminal case in a number of years.
Well, I think it's fairly clear that the judiciary is biased. Like when you look at the fact that the guy who was the expert on the matter in the last court, he was the guy who said no, all the convictions should be quashed, and the 2 who didn't quite have his expertise, they upheld the decision. And it's been observed that when you see just like the completely different conclusions that they reached, it's basically been said that it's like they were looking at 2 completely different cases. So how can like really smart people come to like such opposite conclusions? Like,
well, that seems to be the way our society is at the moment.
It's the reason we're on here, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, well, just on here.
Yeah.
All right, now I want to turn to because Brexit, there's 1.5 months to go until the October 31st deadline, which is they were supposed to leave March 29th. That's when Theresa May, she promised that we'll leave the European Union there, but she couldn't get a deal through the Parliament. It was a pretty crap deal.
How convenient, huh?
Sorry?
How convenient, huh? I don't think May ever wanted a deal. Yeah.
Well, she's got nothing, like no legacy as Prime Minister except failure, so she can, suck on that.
She'll be rewarded. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I noticed that one of the newspapers in the UK, they got a snap of her like looking like quite pleased.
Yeah.
But it's funny, David Cameron is launching his autobiography this week, and because the attention's now on him, he's being asked, why did you put the nation through this? Why did you call this referendum? Look what you've done.
That's interesting. That's it. Is the title of his book "I Fucked Up"?
Well, he was a Remainer. He thought that I'll just call this referendum to,
and then it'll be over. Yeah.
Well, no. The idea was to basically placate the Eurosceptics in his party and to stop people voting for the UKIP party in the 2015 general election, which worked. He got an absolute majority, and he campaigned quite strongly for Remain. So he thought, I can easily, make sure that this is defeated. And then, oops, Brexit passed. He had to resign. That was the end of him.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. Like he thought it would all be over, but he's actually given the Poms a chance.
He believed
by accident. Every now and then, like the elite accidentally just, yeah. Thankfully, they're incompetent. You know what I mean? Like, every now and then they make a mistake and actually give the people of the West a chance to actually have a say over their own lives, which is it's a huge relief.
They did that in Australia once. That was to pass same-sex marriage.
Yeah. I'd love to see a postal vote on mass immigration. That's all I can say.
That's. I don't think that's going to happen because we saw Fraser Anning, he proposed one, and then in the new parliament, Pauline Hanson and Malcolm Roberts did, and you saw the division there in the parliament. It was just Pauline and Malcolm sitting there, and the rest are all on the other side.
Yeah, that's why we have to do something about the rest. So what is it about the Scottish court?
Oh yes, because Boris Johnson said to the Queen, "I want Parliament to be prorogued for a month." So we can have a fresh agenda when we start. But everyone knew that the real reason was to stop the time that a no-deal Brexit could be stopped. But the elites, they scrambled, and as soon as Parliament came back, he was stabbed in the back by 21 alleged Conservative MPs who have all been expelled now, thankfully. But he's in a minority. He's not really in a minority government. There's no because he doesn't have a majority on the floor of the House of Commons. But there needs to be a 2/3 majority to vote for an election, or a motion of no confidence needs to be moved against him. They passed the stopping the no-deal Brexit, so he can't legally do that. There's been talk that if he does just do a no-deal Brexit on October 31st, he should be arrested.
Really?
Yes.
I reckon he should take the punt.
You reckon? Like,
yeah,
go
absolutely.
jail for...
Bloody oath.
Yes.
You should have a crack. That's what
Absolutely.
democracy's all about, you know?
Well,
That's
he
it,
said-
isn't it? Do you reckon the people would rise up, Dusty?
I fucking hope so. You should be going full Hong Kong style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if he said, I'd rather die in a ditch than delay Brexit, well,
Yes.
would you go to prison instead of delaying Brexit?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it
What's
would...
the big staff thing? Like, you know, when you go to Parliament and they hang that big golden fucking politician bashing wand that they have?
the politician.
we could finally see that thing getting used. You know what I mean?
Oh, but when we do that...
Are you suggesting that Boris Johnson just grab that and bang a few heads?
Yeah. Just be
Game
like,
of Thrones
"You
style.
take-
You shall not pass. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
He should do it.
What?
He should just go, you know what? Arrest me. I'm taking Britain out of the
I hope
EU.
he does. That'd be
Yeah,
like...
bloody oath.
Because this is what Nigel Farage has been talking about, that democracy only works with losers' consent, and throughout the Brexit process there's been no losers' consent.
Yeah.
So what can you do when there's no more losers' consent? And Boris Johnson, he's basically, well, you know, you've used every dirty trick to try and delay this. I'm gonna, do whatever it takes. And well, yeah, if he's already been, based as fuck on Brexit.
Yes. Yeah, and when you look at the fact that they had a referendum, so the people voted for Brexit, and they were then calling for years for a second referendum. So Boris Johnson says, okay, let's hold an election so that I have the numbers to push it through.
No.
And the election would essentially be a second referendum, and now they don't want to hold that.
Because they know
Yes.
that they're going to lose the Labour and the Liberal Democrats.
Yeah. So, what better way to make it absolutely clear that the Parliament does not represent the people than to say, screw the Parliament. You really want to do this? You arrest me. I'm with the people. And then see what happens.
Well, they'll just send him to a cell like Tommy Robinson anyway. You know, he'll never see another fucking prisoner. He'll see Julian Assange in there.
Well,
You know what I mean?
he could afford to lose a little bit of weight. You know? Boris will be right.
Tommy's
Shave his
now.
head bald, he'll be right. You know?
Tommy's been released after his 66 days in prison, receiving the remainder of his contempt of court.
He looks like the man from Ironbark now.
Sorry?
He looks like the man from Ironbark.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, he didn't shave, but he was treated much better this time, and his first meal back was the McDonald's because I don't think he was going to go and get Burger King, because remember Burger King, they sent out that tweet.
About the milkshakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he's not getting Burger King.
I think actually it was McDonald's that actually shut in the area where I think Farage was at, because to stop milkshaking. So
Yeah,
Oh.
McDonald's is the responsible milkshake
So
seller.
right.
McDonald's are the official sponsor of the alt-right.
Oh no,
Them
sleeping.
golden arches, mate. That's a symbol of, freedom.
Yeah, it's a symbol of white fertility, isn't it? Eh?
Get a bit sleeping giants to be at McDonald's all the time on Twitter and send them 1,000 emails which all say the exact same thing, but are in fact from about 10 people just using all different email addresses.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for Sleeping Giants to go after XYZ.
Well, they went after us once,
really?
the Unshackled, because they noticed that Brisbane International Comedy Festival was like, one of their ads showed up on the Unshackled.
That's right.
And so, I can't remember, I think it was Antifa Brisbane pinged Sleeping Giants Oz, and then they pinged Brisbane International Comedy Festival and said, oh yes, we've just noticed this, we're withdrawing we're advertising from the Unshackled, and they, like, it was a big victory for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know.
My mate was saying he was watching one of my lives, and he said there was a Muslim dating website came up as one of the ads, one of my YouTube ads. And he screenshotted it for me, so I'm like, yeah, how fucking funny.
Get a bit of pork in you.
Yes, the algorithm can still throw up some funny stuff.
Yeah, we love the algorithms. Yeah.
Now, going back to Brexit, so the Liberal Democrats in the UK, they're now, they passed a motion at their most recent meeting to cancel Brexit, and their leader, Joe Swindon, is now being promoted as the anti-Brexit figurehead. So she's...
How many divisions has the Liberal Democrats?
Sorry?
How many divisions do they have?
What do you mean?
I'm quoting Stalin. Like them and what army, basically. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Please
Well,
continue.
they did come second in the UK European parliamentary election.
For long. Yeah.
Sorry?
Not for long. Like when you combine the Tories and
Well, they beat the Tories and Labour.
yeah, but when you consider the Tories and Brexit Party, like they're going to be the majority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Farage, he's sort of like he's wanting to offer an olive branch to Johnson to make sure that, because it's first past the post in an election, so you can't vote one Brexit Party, second Conservative. So there has to be some sort of arrangement so that Brexit Party and the Tories don't knock each other out in a general election.
Yeah, right. That could be the new coalition, huh?
Mm. And now, just another reminder, we are on Entropy, so answer our poll question, and as Senator Slater did before, you can send us through a super chat. There's heaps of fun you can have there, and there's, what is it? I never promote this, the pulse monitor, how much you're liking tonight.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go the pulse monitor.
Mm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, smash that pulse monitor, people.
Yeah. So going back to the proroguing of Parliament, so there's been all these court challenges saying that Boris Johnson, it's illegal for him to prorogue Parliament, even though the Queen, like, she's still the absolute monarch. She has absolute power.
Yeah.
And these three Scottish
Which means
judges,
that if she wanted, she could, like, execute all of Parliament.
Yeah, she could seize Australia, New Zealand, Canada.
Yeah. Close the borders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these three Scottish judges said, no, the proroguing of Parliament is illegal because we believe that Boris Johnson lied or misled the Queen.
Yeah, yeah. It's It seems like a very convenient argument.
Which it seems like they're basically saying that
Are they
the
mind readers?
Queen is a moron who, I don't know, just lives in Buckingham Palace all day and doesn't pay attention to like news or anything like that.
Yeah, I bet she's not amused.
So it's basically saying the Queen is too stupid to understand, and so we as
Yeah.
you know maybe that's those Scottish judges. Well, Queen still has ultimate authority over them.
Yeah, that's it. Off with their heads.
Yeah, but of course it's the Scottish judges that did this.
Yeah, well, the elite always find a way, don't they? Like you see in America, is the judiciary have been like one of the key players in stopping Donald Trump's agenda, and we know what they're like here. What do we expect? Yeah.
So it's gone to the High Court of the UK now. They reversed that decision because, of course, it was rubbish, and now it's going to the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, and they'll make the ultimate decision. And it's a cross-party bid to stop the proroguing of Parliament. It basically means, well, they did have, remember the cross-party political group they had? It was called Centre UK Cuck Party. So it's basically a continuation of this. So a broad coalition is just another word for cuck.
Yes. Nicely put.
All right,
Yeah,
and what are you doing tomorrow?
What am I doing tomorrow? I'm working my ass off.
What are you doing, Dusty?
I'm going to watch the Rambo movie tomorrow night.
Ah, beautiful.
I mean, tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow after work. I'll be fucking concreting all day. My hands will be bleeding. I've been tying steel, so fuck, my hands are just gushing blood all day. It's all good.
Nothing like blood and concrete. I hear it helps with the mix. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's toxic masculinity for you, building things.
Yeah, that's right. Have you considered hiring a few women of color? Because I hear that, like, if you have multiple different people, well, if you have people from different backgrounds, they come at ideas from a different perspective, and then like you have different perspectives on how to concrete, and you have more enriched concrete. Have you considered something like that?
We have a multi-racial workplace, eh? And the funniest thing, I think, like, concreting just brings out the bogan in everyone, you know what I mean? It's like, let's go to the fucking pub. Everyone's keen to just hit the sports bar after and have a fucking cold beer, you know what I mean?
I think you need some sensitivity training sessions. You need like a women's LGBT liaison.
Yeah, you need to ask. You need to ask, "Are you okay?" a little bit more. I think, Dusty.
Yeah.
Get Tim Supomasani and Benjamin Law to give a few lectures.
They had a workplace health and safety dude come out, right? And he said he came from the mines, and he said what they had, a new thing they had out the mine he was working on. It was like a little plastic didgeridoo you had to put on your cock to take a piss because it wasn't safe, you know. They were like, guys aren't washing their hands, so they were like these little disposable didgeridoos come in a fucking little plastic bag, and you put it on your cock, and there you go. That's a government sanctioned piss, you know what I mean?
Wow, I just love that that's a thing that exists. That's incredible.
I know, it's insane, hey.
A didgeridoo for your dick, huh? Didgeridick?
So of course it's the climate strikes tomorrow because we're in a climate emergency. The world's going to end in how many years is it? 12 or I can't.
I think it was supposed to be 2015, wasn't it? We're supposed to have no glaciers by now.
Yeah. Because basically because Al Gore and Tim Flannery, they cried wolf for so many years. They've got this 16-year-old Swedish girl, Greta Thunberg, to basically be the new prophet.
Yeah.
Like
she's been brainwashed, just like a lot of kids have. And I worry about what they're doing to our kids because, like, they're convincing kids that they're not going to have a future, and so it
just live wild, mate. Just get out of control.
Yeah.
It's like in the Cold War, you know what I mean? Everyone would have been afraid of getting nuked, so everyone's just like, fuck it, spend everything you've got.
Yep.
You know?
You just hit the nail on the head. That's why I was going with it. Like
Right.
the idea of a nuclear winter was actually that was blown out of all proportion. It was there were left-wing academics who were basically communist plants, who actually basically blew up the idea of the nuclear winter. It was basically meant as a way to undermine the West's nuclear deterrence against the Soviets. So, yeah, it's like they've always had this way of trying to convince everybody that you're not going to live, and you've got no future. So yeah, don't live for the future.
We've got a quite an interesting question for Dusty Bogan here. This is from local Eastlab, who said, Dusty Bogan, why did you choose Proud Boys over Lad Society for a fraternity organisation?
I think I joined the Proud Boys before Lads, eh? I didn't know, you know what I mean? I think I was sitting there when Trump was getting elected, just drinking beers. Every weekend, we were just drinking beers, watching YouTube, watching all these Trump rallies, and then just seeing these dudes, you know, wearing Fred Perry's, the black and yellow shirts. And I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? And then like, oh, they're the Proud Boys. Typed in Proud Boys into into Facebook, and bang, it was a thing. And I'm like, I'm fucking in. And I had enough. Like, honestly, I mean, I've been volunteering in my local church for 10 years, probably, you know, fucking 10 hours a week for 10 years, week in, week out. And it was around the time of the gay vote, and I thought, I stepped out of my little oasis of, like, you know, church kind of is like a bubble of awesomeness, families and conservative values, everyone's doing good, and you step out of that area, and I was just like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, mate, I might just slow down on the volunteering and do something else. Join the Proud Boys, because they were the only dudes who were fucking wanting to be at every rally, wanting to be at every show, and fucking doing something, getting amongst it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
You have to be there. You have to do something if you're not happy about culture. If we're not happy, you know, politics is downstream to culture. Well, we need to change culture. We need to fucking get amongst it and do something.
But that doesn't address the question at hand, because Proud Boys and Lad Society, they're quite two different fraternity organisations with different values. Obviously, Proud Boys is a civic nationalist libertarian organisation, while Lad Society is white nationalist and fascist. So
yeah, there's definitely a divide there. Like, there's a distinction in between the two. Proud Boys are civic nationalists, so any race can join the Proud Boys as long as they're Western chauvinists. You know, you have to believe the West is the best and not apologise for it. You know.
Yeah, that's why I prefer Lads, because like, where does the West come from? It comes from white people. So like, Western chauvinism to me is white chauvinism. The West can't exist without white people. Yes, we have good values, and it's good for people of other races to adopt them. But if the West loses its white majority, then the West is no longer going to be the West. So that's why I think it's important to actually fight, start with immigration, start with preserving white people with the European people and European countries, and go from there. Yeah.
Are you bothered that the new chairman of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, is a Cuban American?
Am I bothered?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
But like, he's pretty epic leader. I mean, his family fled communist Cuba. He hates communists, loves capitalism, doesn't want the socialists to take over America.
Yeah, good on him. Good on him. Yeah, with Cubans fleeing Cuba, good on him. There's a theory that I'm working on. It's to do more with Venezuela, that we shouldn't take in refugees from communist countries. Like, if you think of a place like Venezuela, they voted for communism, basically. So when you have these people fleeing Venezuela because of communism, yeah, sure, a lot of them might be anti-communists. A lot of them might have voted for it anyway. But you're not going to save Venezuela by taking all the refugees. We're just going to like undermine our own countries. Make them stay and fight.
Well, the Cubans who came to America, they tried to stay and fight. Like, they tried to save their country. Same with, like, the Vietnamese in Australia. They came after the Civil War ended. Like, they fought to the death. And I think
socialists in the United States, in Australia, like, screwed over the South Vietnamese. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, you know, you could just, you know, send money in the mail to the communists overseas in those days. That actually happened. Like, like, student groups, they did send money to the communists in Vietnam.
Yeah, not surprised. Not surprised.
But nobody remembers that.
But yeah, for Venezuela, for example, like, stand and fight. It's because, like, I think about what we're going to do here. Like, what if it really goes pear-shaped here? Like, where are we going to flee to?
New Zealand, mate. No.
This isn't a super chat. Yeah. This isn't a super chat, but it's a good comment here in the live chat. It's from Subneck, which says, I'm worried about Dusty. Hanging out with us Supreme Pizzas may affect his chances of citizenship.
Yeah, I know. It took them about 6 months before they got back to me about my Australian citizenship, eh? So I finally got a reply email, and I'm reading through all the shit I've got to study now to go sit it.
Oh, wait, are you a Kiwi?
It's actually, born in New Zealand.
Okay.
So I was born in New Zealand, came to Australia, and then I went back to New Zealand for 5 years. So when I went to New Zealand, they called me the Aussie kid, and I copped all the Aussie jokes. And then when I came back, I had enough of a New Zealand accent that I copped the Kiwi jokes.
I've always thought that New Zealand should have federated with when Australia federated. Like, we actually made the offer to New Zealand, but they turned us down.
Well, there is some good news that's coming out of New Zealand, is that Jacinda Ardern, her prime ministership, it's starting to crumble because...
I'm sure that there's got to be a picture of her in blackface somewhere. Come on.
Because it turns out that one of her close staff members, male staff members, he's been accused of harassment and bullying by 7 women, and one of them has accused him of sexual misconduct.
What is it about leftists and sexual
Yeah, they had an internal probe, Labour Party probe.
The beta always shines through.
They found out nothing, and so Jacinda Ardern, she's like,
an internal probe, huh?
Yeah. She was like, I feel let down by this, but if it can happen in my feminist party, it can happen anywhere.
Those sorts of people thrive in feminist parties.
And Jacinda, she was in...
It happened in was there the Green... There was the Greens leader in Victoria?
Had said some quite... made some crude remarks at women at his office.
They were brilliant, I remember them actually.
No one they can't live up to the fucking PC bullshit, all these left-wing politicians. You know what I mean? Like Trudeau... painting his face like fucking Aladdin.
Yes.
Carrying on like a little sook. Like,
yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
They can't substantiate. Like, it's impossible. They're creating an impossible standard that no one can fucking accomplish.
And this is where
in the Bible, they were called the Pharisees, you know? They create this fucking never-ending list of bullshit laws. And you needed Jesus to come along and be like, you fucking idiots, you know? Wake up.
Well, we can go full Alinsky on them, because Alinsky's tactic is to make conservatives live up to their own standards. And in the past, I don't know, like if you think of somebody like Bill Clinton, when he cheated on Hillary Clinton, people on the left didn't judge him. Like the line is, well, the left have no standards, so like they don't care. But now that they're becoming such SJWs, we can. That's what I love about the whole Justin Trudeau thing.
Interesting.
They're the true Pharisees of the modern era. Do you know what I mean? They fucking haunting us all. Every fucking thing you've ever done in your whole life.
The live chat's it's gone in quite a strange direction now, because we were talking about fraternal organisations. They've now started talking about other venues where men meet and partake in activities.
Like men's sheds.
And now we have got another question through Entropy. I think,
Oh, yes.
Dave, you should answer this one. Are non-white Australian nationals allowed to join Lead Society?
No.
That was simple.
Yeah.
And just while we're on Jacinta, she's now on a trip to Japan, and she, when she was like at a official like state function, she accidentally said it's great to be here in China.
What about?
I heard about this.
Yeah. So there's two explanations for that. Either she thinks that all Asians look the same.
Yep.
So she forgot what Asian country she was in, or she is just so in bed with the Chinese Communist Party that whenever she's in Asia, her mind's just on China.
I think both are possibilities. Did she follow that up with, trying to lighten the mood by going, "Oh, my father's Chinese, my mother's Japanese. Look what happened to me."
Yeah. So, there. Have you heard of?
I'll take that as a yes.
Have you heard of Dusty MAGA 2020?
MAGA 2020.
Yeah.
Nah, what is it?
The New Zealand version, which is because the next New Zealand general election is in 2020, and so it's make Ardern go away.
Ah,
Yeah, beautiful.
brilliant.
Mm.
Get rid of the bitch, I reckon. Fuck.
Oh, careful! You don't want what is it? Those
Put
sleeping
a sock
giants.
in it.
Yeah.
Ditch the witch. Oh, we should just make the slogan "Ditch the witch."
Revive it.
Yeah, revive it. Yeah, absolutely.
What you think? Well, because that was when Gillard was prime minister, and that was the biggest outrage that ever been in politics.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
But,
we ditched the witch.
Sorry?
We ditched the witch. We can ditch another one.
Well, that's one way.
Like, it's pathetic. You know, like I was saying before, they have that big fucking golden staff in the parliament, right? Where isn't there supposed to be like a guard who is be like, "Settle down, boys," and he'll fucking bash him with the golden staff in the parliament there? You know what I mean? Like, this is what our democratic process was built on. We should be fucking abusing each other, getting passionate, saying all this shit. Like, it is a disgrace where we've fucking come.
So you're saying you want to bash Ardern with your golden staff?
I just think that that's a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
That's that symbolic, right? I think it's a picture of saying that we should be able to fucking use our words, undermine each other, test each other. A bit of this banter and sledging. It's perfectly healthy, you know what I mean? That golden staff's the last resort, but at least it's there. You know what I mean?
Well, we've just discussed one regressive world leader. We're about to get into another. That's around about 9:15, which is when you're planning to go when Australian Meditation Stefanos is going to come for the second half. So, do you want to keep going? And well, Australian Meditations, I haven't got a message or anything.
I'll keep going for a bit.
Yeah. Although I've got my phone on the ground. So.
Mehdi was saying in the chat he'll come on at 9:30, I think.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Hang on.
Right.
No, 9:15.
9:15.
He said 9:15, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you really want to come on Australian Meditations, then you've got to be like Maddie, which is basically harass and message us constantly.
Yeah, he's harassing, yeah.
Well, he's just in the comments. That's nothing. Should I call now? Well, if you want to be on the show, I suggest you call. That's how it is.
Is he coming on or what?
I think he is.
Yeah. We shall see. What happened to the fiery Greek in him?
Well, yeah, he's saying, yeah, I'm here.
Well, we're waiting for your call. We're not going to have... Dusty's going to stay on until you call.
So, Trudeau, blackface.
Yes,
Oh,
here
wait.
he is
Oh, here he
now.
is.
All right. Sorry, Dusty. We'll bid
No
you
worries.
farewell.
Cheerio,
Thanks,
man.
boys. Catch
You're
us
welcome.
later.
Bye.
See you, Zay.
Cheers.
Hello?
G'day.
Hey,
Whoa,
Maddie.
that is so dark in there. Have you got...
Sorry.
And what do you got on your head? Like, the audience will
it's-
see in a moment.
It's a turban.
Turban. A lot of
Yeah.
cultures wear turbans.
I thought I pretended it's 2001 and wear a turban. I just thought I'd rewind, you know. Let me just fix this.
Nothing like a bit of cultural appropriation in the evening. I love it.
Yeah, it's actually a scarf for my favourite soccer team in Cyprus. But let me just fix this camera, mate. Give me one sec.
You mean Greek Cyprus, don't you?
Yes, Greek Cyprus. Yes.
Not what's. Do you believe that Cyprus should be all Greek and Turks should have none of it?
100%. They should all be kicked out. Every
Yep.
single one of them.
Well spoken.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Alright. Sorry. There we go. That's good.
We can only see half. Like, the audience can see half of you. Yeah, this is always the. Everyone needs to have like a proper camera setup like here. XYZ Live's never like this.
Yeah, you watch XYZ Live, you get to see the pixels. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's. Oh, what now?
There we go.
Yeah. Cool.
No, I'll just adjust the picture. Like, yeah, this is like. I'm gonna have to pick up the.
Yeah, do some editing, Timmy.
There we go. There.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we
beautiful,
can
beautiful.
see you now.
Excellent.
All right, now let's get stuck into the cultural appropriator himself.
This is my favourite story of the week.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who he's just called a general election in Canada, so he's in campaign mode, and it's on October 21st, the election, but there was a September surprise in Time magazine where. Oh, well, that's the wrong one. That's another cultural. There we go. There. This was from the. I got this image from a Twitter account, Canada Proud, and it says, yeah, Trudeau wore racist brown face at 2001 party. Pass this on because Trudeau would hate if you did. Now, this was he used to be a teacher. This was when he was a teacher. He was 29 at the time. This was 2001. And so it was...
He's blacked his hands as well.
Yeah, it was an Arabian-themed party, Arabian Night-themed party, and he's supposed to be Aladdin.
Yeah.
So it's not blackface, it's brownface.
It's blackface. Yeah, it's funny that they don't want to call it blackface. Of course it's blackface.
But if you zoom in a bit on the photo, look, his hand is around...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That either is Lady Gaga or Amy Winehouse. That's what I think it is. But notice how the rest of them, like, this is an Arabian Nights party, and, like, you know, they're not... Because going back to that other photo, we know that Trudeau, he likes dress up, you know, with his trip to India.
And it's not the first time he's worn makeup either. Like, he's got a thing going on there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just wants to dress up, but of course he's the woke SJW Prime Minister now, and of course, no, we didn't make the rules. His supporters did.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say there's a fair bit of gay going on in there. Yeah.
Shall I play the apology video?
Please do.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
Do.
You'll have to watch it on the live stream, Australian Meditations.
No worries.
Yeah.
In 2001, when I was a teacher out in Vancouver, I attended an end-of-year gala where the theme was Arabian Nights. And I dressed up in an Aladdin costume and put makeup on. I shouldn't have done that. I should have known better, but I didn't. And I'm really sorry.
How do you feel about this coming out right now?
Obviously, I regret that I did it. It's not about timing. It's about having done something that I shouldn't have done, and I'm really sorry I did.
The only time you've done something like this, Mr. Trudeau, is that the only time in your life you've ever done something like that?
When I was in high school, I dressed up at a talent show and sang Dale. with makeup on.
Was it racist in your opinion?
Yes. Yes, it was. I didn't consider it a racist action at the time, but now we know better, and this was something that was unacceptable, and yes, racist.
Like all Canadians, I was extremely shocked and disappointed when I learned of Justin Trudeau's actions this evening. Wearing brown face is an act of open mockery and racism. It was just as racist in 2001 as it is in 2019. And what Canadians saw this evening is someone with a complete lack of judgment and integrity, and someone who's not fit to govern this country.
Well, that's just it. It doesn't jar me personally, if I can be really honest with you. When I was growing up, I fought racists.
Is that Justin Trudeau?
I dealt with them myself, and I fought
In
back.
dress up?
But I got a message from a friend who reminded me that there's a lot of people out there that couldn't do that. They couldn't fight back. They didn't have the ability to do that.
He's crying.
They couldn't do it themselves. And I think that it's going to hurt to see this. It's going to hurt them a lot.
All right, so yeah, Justin Trudeau, you have to give it to him. He does cuck well. That was a very elegant cuck. But the guy after who was at that press conference at the airport, Andrew Shearer, he's the Conservative opposition leader.
Yeah, okay. So it's like last week when the Conservatives were hauling out the spectre of the White Australia policy to try to like get the Labor Party from having a go at Gladys Liu. Yeah, yeah. The Conservatives in Canada don't care about Canadians, basically.
And the New Democratic Party, that's one of Canada's third parties, and that's their leader.
Well, wait a second. You saying the Indian guy is conservative?
No. He's the New Democratic Party leader, which is like the third centrist party in Canada. The guy.
Okay. I was gonna say he sounded really cucked, mate. Like he was more cucked than Trudeau, mate. Like
they're...
I actually thought the Indian guy was Trudeau, like dressed as an Indian.
he has maybe he's leader of two parties. He loves dress up so much.
Yeah,
that he has...
I think there's something going on here. Yeah. Good to see the milk there, Maddie.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I saw the thing at lunch today, and my mate sent me the video of the Indian guy, and I'm just watching, and I'm like, I can't believe they're so hung up on this. It's just like, wow, like they're racism and this, and oh my god, I couldn't believe how they're fallen, victim of their own standards that they themselves have set. And if it was anyone else, like Trump or someone, Trump wouldn't even ever apologize for this. He'll probably laugh it off and make it even worse for himself, basically. But this bending over backwards is something that happened 19 years ago, which was never meant to be racist, and then they're just coming out and apologizing for themselves for no bloody reason.
In 2000, I think in 2001, it was still like the leftists still considered it a bad thing. I remember there was an episode of Hey Hey It's Saturday where Harry Connick Jr.
No, that was in 2008. That was many years later.
Okay.
Yeah, 2009 actually.
Yeah, but
I just want to also
just pointing out like the fact that like we saw the Conservative leader saying that Trudeau should resign, and he was asked by a journalist as well if he should resign. I just love the fact that that's even a question in the current year. Like I think back to the 1930s in Britain, where the King of England had to resign as, or was it the king? Or was it the prince?
King. He just become king.
Yeah, he abdicated his throne because he wanted to marry a divorcee.
American divorcee.
An American divorcee. But in the current year, the Prime Minister wore blackface 19 years ago, and they're calling for him to step down. Like, this is how far we've fallen.
Oh, well, that's happened now. A member of the royal family has married an American divorcee.
Yes.
Move with the
Well,
times.
yes, exactly.
And that's worked out spectacularly, hasn't it?
So that's where we are, yeah.
I was wondering, fellas, when he mentioned, when he was asked if he was going to resign, how did he rationalise not resigning? Not that I would support that, but like, how did he rationalise it? Basically,
I don't think he answered that.
I think he cried. No.
Yeah, I watched. I just want to before we move on to this, I just want to, because
I can't
it seems that it's
answer,
only like left-wing politicians who dress up in blackface, because this is Virginia Governor Ralph Northam in 1984 in his medical college yearbook. So one of those is him. Actually, a state congressional investigation could determine whether it was him in the blackface or him in the KKK. So he said he couldn't remember, but yes, one of them is me.
Yeah. And the original blackface, like the very, very first one, it was from a movie that came out, like it was a silent movie, I think.
That's going back a long way.
Yeah, it's going back a long way. It was basically it was this guy he was a Jewish guy in like I think in New York City, and like the story was that like he wanted to be an entertainer and he wanted to be famous, and so he was wearing blackface and entertaining people. But then like the whole story is of like how his mum or his dad like come along and say, hey, you're Jewish, you've got to be like true to your own people, you've got to be true to yourself, this is your heritage. And so like it's a battle within himself. It's like, okay, do I dress up in blackface and be like a superstar, or do I stay true to myself? And so he eventually chooses his own Jewish heritage at the end of the movie. Like that was actually the original blackface movie.
So when I learned about this photo this morning, like after I'd stopped pissing myself laughing, I couldn't do it on the show because I think I emptied out. But I was like, I have to watch John Lemon on CNN today to comment about this, because after the Ralph Northam one in 1984, like Don Lemon said, this is not from 1951, 1961, 1971. This is from 1984, and like he full on like gets like, you know, tears up and that. And so I watched
I'm just 1984, I was 6.
yeah Don Lemon today, and like he was sort of like, yes, this is terrible, but he and the talking heads that he had on, it's like, oh, Trudeau apologized and said it was racist, and I think that, you know, that's the right thing to do, and he wasn't next to a Klansman when he had the photo taken.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
So, cultural appropriation. I was hoping to give my take on the issue very briefly, because I have a very unique view that I think a lot of people might be actually surprised about. Because I actually agree with the lefties when it comes to like, I'll put it this way, like, have you ever seen that video of the Aboriginals dancing the Zorba on YouTube? Okay, well, just YouTube Zorba Aboriginals. Basically, you got some Aboriginals who dance the Zorba in an Aboriginal way. And I find that offensive myself, being Greek, because I'm like, the Zorba's supposed to be danced a certain way. And I just don't like the idea of black people, you know, making it their own thing and basically changing it for their own sort of whatever. And I get very offended by that. And also, like, you know, if I saw Aboriginals dressing up as ancient Spartans with Spartan helmets, and you can see their black face underneath the helmet, I'd personally be offended by that, because, like, who the hell are you? The ancient Greeks weren't black. Why should you wear the ancient Spartan helmet? You know, or if I see, you know, Troy. Remember how they made Achilles as a black actor?
Yes.
You know, in Troy. Like, obviously that's ridiculous, because I'm against, you know, a white actor playing, you know, a black historical figure, like what's that guy, Malcolm X, for example. Hollywood would never make a white actor play Malcolm X, as they shouldn't, because he was black. I mean, obviously. So why the hell are they making, you know, Achilles black in the movies, you know?
So you make a really good point. If they want to have a taboo against cultural appropriation, make it a two-way street.
Well, I agree with you, though. I think it shouldn't be a two-way street. Okay, I think that us Westerners should freely be allowed to do whatever the hell we want, because our culture is so much better. So I'm allowed to, you know, play the didgeridoo. Not that I wouldn't want to dress up in an Indian way. I don't know why anyone would do that. But as a joke, maybe I'll do it, maybe at a party, for example, just like Justin Trudeau did back in 2001. But that's only because I consider them sort of not on the same level culturally. So as Westerners, we can do that to them. But when I see them doing it to us, because I think that they're below us culturally, I don't feel comfortable and I actually get offended. So I'm actually quite biased and selective when it comes to cultural appropriation. I think that we should be allowed to appropriate their culture as a joke, but I get very offended when they appropriate ours. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. So, what you're talking about here is just, you know, having pride in our own culture, our pride in who we are, not being pushed around by these people, saying, "Hey, you can't do that. That's ours." It's like,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
100%.
well, hey, you guys are wearing jeans and shoes, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand this because we all culturally appropriate everything. I mean, did we Greeks give permission to everyone to have democracy or to build using, you know, the Victorian Parliament, the Shrine of Remembrance? They're based off Greek architecture and Byzantine architecture. I mean, I don't understand it. Like, we all culturally appropriate to some extent. I mean, the West wouldn't be the West without Greek ideas. I don't remember the Greek nation giving permission to anyone to use that shit, you know? But why should we? I mean, it's a great idea. You know, I'm pretty sure we don't have to. I mean, you know, it's just weird. It's just, I just don't think, you know, humanity can survive if we just had to tiptoe around everything. So on the one hand, you know, you can culturally appropriate, you know, all the big ideas that are really beneficial, like democracy, for example, whatever, so to speak. But I just think that it's a lot more complex than people think it is. And I think that we should kind of see things from that perspective as well. We shouldn't just laugh cultural appropriation off. It's okay to be offended. I mean, if people are using your culture in the wrong way, you know, then you should stand up for yourself and actually say, no, why are you using that culture? Why are you using my culture, basically? Because I would get offended by, you know, like I said, you know, a black, you know, Achilles, or black people wearing, you know, Achilles, ancient Spartan, you know, helmets, etc.
Well, yeah, they're doing a similar thing with British history as well. You know, like they've got Black Guinevere and Black Arthur and all that sort of stuff. Like they're retelling all of those stories.
Yeah, was that Little
foreign
Mermaid's going to be black now?
Yeah.
There's a few. Oh, they're going to have a black female James Bond now.
Yeah.
Or as sorry, 007. She's just gonna she's going to inherit the 007 code name.
Yeah, they always find these. It's like they find these passive aggressive ways of culturally appropriating our stuff, but then being able to deny it. Like that. With that, they say, oh, well, she's not the new James Bond, she's just a new 007, so it's okay.
Yes.
With the Little Mermaid, the Little Mermaid doesn't exist. Never mind the idea, never mind the fact that they deliberately created all these non-white Disney princesses, saying, oh, we need some non-white Disney princesses because non-white girls need role models. But now they're actually taking a white princess anyway.
But Stephanos raises a good point that, like, and I raised it before, that it's only like leftists who are getting in trouble for these cultural appropriation, blackface or whatever. It's never conservatives. I can't think of one off the top of my head. If someone, you know, in the comments or someone else watching can think of one, then please send it to me.
Yeah, because you wouldn't see me in a turban.
Sorry?
You wouldn't see me in a turban. Yeah, that's right.
Well, speaking of people who wear things on their heads, Ilhan Omar, the Somali American congresswoman, part of the far left Democratic caucus, the Squad, there's been long suspicion that she married her brother. Now, I'm just going to bring up the article that I posted yesterday.
I think I saw that, yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah, so if we go down here, so yeah, Ilhan Omar's current husband is Ahmed Percy. They were married from 2002 to 2008, had 2 children, got back together in 2011, had their 3rd child the next year, but did not legally remarry until 2018 because she was married to Ahmed Syed Amy from 2009 to 2017, so she couldn't marry her first husband again until her divorce from her brother was finalised in 2017, even though she had 3rd child in 2012 while she was still married to her brother. And so, yeah, I make the point, liberal fact checkers, they haven't been able to debunk this. Like, and she hasn't been cooperating with them.
Yep.
She's just said that insinuations that Ahmed Syed Emir is my brother and absurd and are offensive. And Trump's commented saying somebody should look into that. Yeah.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah, and Imam Tawhidi, who is an Australian Islamic reform advocate, his sort of nickname is the Imam of Peace.
The Imam of Israel.
Yeah, you can say whatever you like about him, but he did a good thing here because he dug up this old tweet of Ilhan Omar from 2013. Happy Father's Day to my, Abu Nia Syed. I'm forever grateful to Allah for giving me the best father. And Imam Tawhidi said, your father is Nur Syed, not Nur Omar Muhammad, so you're Ilhan Nur Syed, and you married Ahmed Nur Syed. You married your brother. Most Americans don't know that in most Muslim countries that surname is actually the father's name. And then she deleted the tweet.
Wow.
Yeah, so good work, Imam Tawhidi there. And
I didn't know Imam Tawhidi was a conspiracy theorist. Wow.
now, a lot of people have crudely called her like a brother fucker, and like what she did was gross. But there was no sexual relations in this marriage because
I heard they moved into Kentucky.
Because Laura Loomer revealed that Ahmed Nelhi, he's actually gay and lives in London. So here he is at.
So he only did her.
What is that? We met at. It's angle at the club, RuPaul's Drag Race, hello Shangler, and then, well, this is a pretty gay pose, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. So did he marry her?
Oh yeah, wait, the comment here, Bruce Jenner's shorts are the new black.
So did he marry her so that she could get a visa, or did she marry him so that he could get a visa? Like,
it was the allegation is they married for immigration fraud and student loan fraud. And another twist has occurred is that it's because this couple, Dr. Meth Mayet and Tim Mayet, they're getting divorced, and court documents have said that Tim Mayet had an affair with Ilhan Omar while working for her as a political consultant, was paid $230,000 by her campaign. And it says back in April, Tim made a shocking declaration of love for Ilhan Omar and was leaving her and they said the defendant's more recent travel and long work hours appear to be more related to the affair with Rep Omar than his actual work commitments.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
these people just can't keep it in their dick, can they?
And so apparently because now Ilhan Omar's like actual husband now wants a divorce
because he's
Ahmed
been
Hirsi. And another source said that he'll no longer cover up about the lies of the marriage to her brother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be beautiful.
And I finished
so basically, like her 15 minutes is nearly over.
I finished this article by like saying that she's actually assimilated well into Western cultural norms. Like the hijab she wears is supposed to symbolize modesty, but she's basically like those like family values conservative Republican men are always caught in like gay sex scandals. So she's basically like the progressive version of this.
Jesus. So are the kids retarded? Because usually when brothers and sisters have kids...
No, they never had sex. All the children are with her like actual like husband, Ahmed Hirsi. So
yeah,
and
she just cheated on her husband with other blokes, not her brother.
No.
Yeah.
Her brother is gay, so obviously like
shit.
Like the brother's not gonna have sex with any woman, let alone his sister.
I just love the fact that she's up there wearing that headscarf. Like,
Yeah,
the whole
yeah, I
point
know.
of the headscarf is supposed to be like for modesty. Like, okay, this is what you were saying in your article. Yeah, like where's the modesty? Like,
yes,
yeah.
It's basically like, well, yeah, as I said, like how many like hypocrites have we seen in politics?
Yeah, dumb a dozen.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like I said, like, none of like sympathetic media outlets have been able to debunk this. When I was watching Don Lemon today, he said, Donald Trump, he's lied about Ilhan Omar. I wonder whether it was going to be about this, but it wasn't, because That black comedian that Trump always retweets, he claimed that Ilhan Omar was partying on 9/11, where she was actually partying 2 days after.
Okay.
And did you see at the 9/11 New York one of the, I think it was the father of one of the victims wore the shirt, Some People Did Something, that she said.
Really? Good. Yeah, don't let him ever forget about that.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're going to use that every time as well. You know, yeah, that's the new line. Yeah, some people.
And she
did
actually
something.
defended. I embedded it in the article. She actually defended saying some people did something. Do you want me to
Really?
play it?
Please do.
All right. I'm gonna go over your face again. I can probably. Yeah, here we go.
This was the anniversary this week, the 18th, of the 9/11 attacks on our country. And Ground Zero was, well, remembrance ceremony, I'll call it. The son of one of the victims stood up and specifically called out language you had used in the past that he characterized as not respectful when referring to the 3,000 people who were killed by Al-Qaeda. You said some people did something, and he put it right there on his t-shirt. Do you understand why people found that offensive?
So 9/11 was an attack on all Americans. It was an attack on all of us, and I certainly could not understand the weight of the pain that the victims of the families of 9/11 must feel. But I think it is really important for us to make sure that we are not forgetting, right, the aftermath of what happened after 9/11. Many Americans found themselves now having their civil rights stripped from them. And so what I was speaking to was the fact that as a Muslim, not only was I suffering as an American who was attacked on that day, but the next day I woke up as my fellow Americans were now treating me as suspect.
So there you go.
That's not an apology.
But does
That's not
that
an apology
mean,
at all.
Because she's saying that because Muslims were targeted views with suspicion after 9/11, that they're also victims. Wouldn't that mean that people like us, we're also victims of the Christchurch mosque shooting?
Absolutely. Yeah, where some guy did something. Yeah.
Because like, you know, like we were obviously targeted. The media's like, you know, we've got to take all these people off Facebook. We need a watch list to watch all these people. So, but I don't think that.
Yeah. Well, as I said, like on our live stream, the live stream that I did with Maddie, very shortly after the Christchurch attack, like if you know a white nationalist, or if you know a white guy, just give him a call and say, hey, I believe in you. I believe that you're a good person. I don't believe what everybody else says. I don't believe what the papers say. You're a good man. Yeah.
Shall we move on to, because we're all Victorians here, Stephanos, you're like on the other side of Melbourne to us, but you know, we all suffer together in this city. So I just want to do not really a Victorian, not a Victorian crime update, but just sort of a Victoria policing and court update. So I'll go back to Firefox. Oop. Yeah, so do you remember that there was this teenager, Jaden, 19, he and his father had said he'd been savagely beaten by African youths. He said the group had been set upon by the boy after stalking him, sliced the teen's forehead with a shard glass while others kicked, punched, choked him during the night out on August 24. And I got like hit twice, and that's all I remember. I think I got kicked in the ribs. I got a fractured nose. He has autism, left with a fractured eye, so I got cuts and bruises. He was left with mental scars from the second attack of its kind in 2 years, because 2 years previously he'd been attacked on public transport by group of Africans, and his father had gone outside the steps of state parliament wanting to meet with Daniel Andrews, but Daniel Andrews refused to meet him. But you can see the headline now: Tina reported bashing at hands of African youths to be charged over false report. And so it says here, in a bizarre twist, police who originally told reporters they're looking for 8 young people of African appearance now say that Jaden may have fabricated the story. Almost a month after Jaden returned home, telling him he'd been bashed, Victoria Police spokesman said the teen is likely to be charged. A 19-year-old man is expected to be charged on summons with submitting a false report. Victoria Police has provided appropriate support and referrals to parties involved. Jaden's mother told the Herald Sun she does not know to make of the twist in the story. I'm baffled by the whole thing because clearly he was beaten up. We still need to get to the bottom of it. So he was clearly... I saw some leftists on Twitter saying, oh, like maybe he did it himself, or I don't know, walked into a pole or something. But
can we have a hashtag believe autists?
Believe all autists.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, why would he make this stuff up?
Well, like he had to go to hospital, and like, so clearly he was attacked by somebody.
Yes.
But if he got the appearance of the attackers wrong, like, you're gonna charge him?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Like, that seems a bit excessive.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and and that's the point, isn't it? What you're saying here is that what this looks like is the police sending a message to people: don't report African crime.
Well, Lisa Neville, she was asked that this afternoon on the radio because there was another one of those Airbnb parties that got out of control, which was made up
of... Just those youths
again. Youths. Yeah. But they could identify as boomers. Like, you know, I think it's a bit stereotypical to call them youths.
Absolutely,
Yes. So this woman in the apartment said, like, the police, they didn't want to go in and break it up because they didn't want to be called racist. And Lisa Neville was on 3AW saying that's complete rubbish. We actually arrested 3 people over the Airbnb party, and that, you know, if anyone's breaking the law, no matter what the race, you know, we'll deal with them.
Yeah, okay. I'm just still thinking about this Autist kid. That's,
Yeah, I will tell you which...
why would he make it up?
Because, hang on, I'll just... because this has caused... well, even Daniel Andrews is outraged about this. And this is... now, this is by the Age newspaper. The Victorian Director of Public Prosecutions wants a man sent to jail for attacks on paramedics after taking a
cornucopia
of drugs at a music festival, because there's mandatory they've actually strengthened the mandatory sentencing laws of 6 months in prison for assaulting a emergency worker. And so this decision was made. Daniel Andrews said, our thoughts are with the victims of this completely unacceptable attack, Mr. Andrews said, following the verdict last month. And so there's an appeal being lodged because... so he attended the Rainbow Serpent Festival for 4 days, then took lots of drugs, then he walked into a random home, and then paramedics were called, and became aggressive, punching one of the paramedics, Monica, in the face, wrapping his hands around her and squeezing. In the sentencing last month, Magistrate Simon Zebrowski said sending the mortified and deeply ashamed man to jail would have a disproportionate and catastrophic effect on his future.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, the reason why Daniel Andrews has been so hard on, like, you know, wanting to have mandatory sentences for ambulance workers is because the ambulance Victoria, they helped get him elected in 2014 and 2018.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, I think from what I understand, they've actually campaigned in uniform, the ambulance union or whatever. There's actually a union for nurses. Sorry, nurses, my bad. Where they actually campaign in their uniform. So I've always found that really annoying when public servants dress up in their own sort of uniform. I mean, you wouldn't find the military doing that. I don't know why doctors and nurses and shit should be different.
Yeah, well, they have an incentive, don't they? That's like the idea of public servants like wanting more of our money. Like they have an incentive to be quite close to the government in that respect. It just seems a little bit just convenient.
I came across another article just today, which was quite interesting. I'm just going to read some of it and without comment, if I bring it up here. So, where are we here? Victoria has a new chief magistrate, the highly respected County Court Judge Lisa Hannon. And go down further here.
Yes.
Some of her high-profile cases involve stopping right-wing supremacist Blair Cottrell from taking his appeal against hate speech to the Supreme Court earlier this year. And this is a return of Magistrates Court for Judge Hannon, who served 8 years as magistrate and coroner. And we had Attorney General Jill Hennessy say Judge Hannon is a highly experienced, respected and capable judge who will perform the role of chief magistrate with distinction. So, there you go.
So, wait a minute. So she was going to be the judge on Blair Cottrell's trial.
Well, his trial was set aside for 10 days in August. I think it was meant to start August 12, but then they were told that judge wasn't available to hear it.
And the judge was this lady,
yes,
Hannon.
Judge Lisa Hannon.
Yes. And so if a judge gets a promotion, can she no longer be the residing judge?
Well, she's going to be in another court.
Yes, okay. And so who gives her the promotion?
Let me go back to it because it says...
Like, who promotes judges?
If I go down, let me just double check this. In announcing her appointment, the state government said Judge Hannon was a leader in her field, supporting and mentoring young women working in criminal law.
Okay, so in announcing her appointment, so does that say that the state government gave the judge a promotion?
That's what the article. I'll just go back to it here. Yeah, that's what the article says it back here. In announcing her appointment, the state government said.
Right. So the state government promoted the judge who was the presiding judge over Blair Cottrell's case, which meant that Blair Cottrell's case had to be delayed.
It's been delayed.
It's been delayed because the judge was promoted?
Sorry?
Has it been... It's been delayed,
yes,
i.e.
it's
because,
been delayed.
i.e. because the judge has been promoted by the state government, which could indicate the state government has interfered with the trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought, yeah.
It's worth putting up there, yeah.
Sorry?
It's worth putting up there, yeah.
But she, like, because, I went to a few of Blair's mentions. She is a pretty good judge. Like, those nice things that are said about her, I will say that they are genuine. She was a good, fair judge, I thought. And so, yeah, like...
So I'd better give her a promotion so that she doesn't... Better give her a promotion then so that she doesn't make a fair ruling. I'm just insinuating things here.
Well, I'm just stating the facts here.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Interesting.
Oh, bless you. Yes.
All right. What have we got left on the show? Oh yes. What's that? Apparently, like we're all like we all know all the Nazis and white supremacists in Victoria, don't we? Like that's what everyone thinks.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I can prove otherwise. I'm not kidding, by the way, and I put it on Facebook yesterday, actually. For the first time in my life, I had a halal snack pack yesterday for lunch.
Were you not?
It was good. I must say, it was all right.
Well, yeah.
Could have been more meat and more cheese, but apart from that, it was pretty good. I was amazed. I'm like, where the hell has it been in my life? For the first time in my life, I had a HSP because I don't know. There's just one down the road from where I work, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go try that. $14, and I'm like, wow, I was missing out on it.
Did it taste like a kebab? Or...
Well,
it's better. It's got chips and stuff and cheese and just different, but it's better. A bit more expensive, but it's I don't know. I kind of felt bad at the later on because I'm like, It tasted good, but I did regret it though. I don't think I want to go back there again, only because the toilet seat was my best friend the morning after, but so to speak. But I kind of felt bad because I was like, hang on. But they are, for the record, they are Christian Lebanese owners, so they weren't Muslims. They were Christian Lebanese. I made sure of that because if they were Muslim, I wouldn't have gone there.
But was it actually halal? Halal like meat, because there's been a butcher in Perth who's got into trouble for, or he's being told his sign saying non-halal certified meat is racist.
Yeah, well, apparently he had to change it to, instead of non-halal, it now says not halal, something like that. So the people who took him to court, the government body, they basically had to they've upheld their decision. I read an article just a few hours ago, and he's conceded. So he's actually, instead of non-halal, now he has to change to not halal, N-O-T, which I don't see. Apparently that makes a difference. Apparently, it's not as racist. Apparently,
is it like saying coloured versus coloured people?
Yeah, apparently he complies with their standards or something. It's just one word, but he's still. I forgot exactly, but all I know is that these bureaucrats, they went through so much trouble to sort of, give this guy a hard time. And I like how he wasn't backing down, but apparently he had to back down and just concede the not instead of non. But, oh well, it happens.
You can hardly call that a cuck.
Speaking of...
if anyone's in Adelaide, definitely go to that butcher if you're in Adelaide. 100%.
Like, you've confessed, like, to eating a halal snack pack. I know plenty of nationalists, like, have, because it's pretty, like it's unavoidable a lot of the time. I remember, back in 20...
For the record, though, I want to make absolutely clear, I would never buy from a Muslim. I've never been to a Muslim restaurant and never will. So, for the record, it was a Christian Lebanese merchant. But they were just cooking halal snack packs. So, it's not as bad as it seems. And it was only one. I'm not going to go there again. So it was a one-off. Yeah. So I hope all my supporters don't ditch me because of that.
I remember Daily Mail did, it was an article about 4 years ago, somebody slapped Blair at a kebab shop near Frankston and noticed that it was halal certified, and they're like, gotcha! And they did the same, another media outlet, when Pauline Hanson was spotted drinking halal milk. So what is that?
White supremacist. No, I just yes.
All right. Oh, what were we getting to again? Oh yes. We're talking about Nazis, as Maddie calls them.
Yes, Nazis.
Because what I was getting at is, like, apparently we're supposed to know, like, all the Nazis and white supreme pizzas in Victoria. So, white supremacists condemned after announcing concert this October. So, it's the Blood and Honour ISD Memorial 2019 Melbourne 12th of October. White Power concert planned for Melbourne next month should be shut down by the Victorian government to protect minorities from the risk of violence, according to civil rights campaigners.
I never knew that minorities were interested in going to heavy metal concerts, into white power heavy metal concerts.
Yeah, so what is it? Civil rights campaigners go down here. The Anti-Defamation Commission.
The Anti-Defamation. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so which campaigns against anti-Semitism?
As in, like, the Defamation Commission.
Yeah, is urging the Victorian government to prevent their neo-Nazi events spreading poisonous, exterminationist hate. These types of gatherings are used as an effective tool by racist extremists to inspire and recruit young people to their warped cause. Deeply concerned, it goes ahead, it will cause a real risk to the safety of all Victorians, since it may lead to crimes being committed by people who attend this event. And they've said, recent massacres in US and New Zealand demonstrate a direct link between hate speech and violence.
I love it how they've got a rainbow right behind Daniel Andrews. That's amazing.
Violence is an integral part of the white power music scene. This is a moment when we desperately need leadership, which moves us from the statements to a strong plan of action. We call on the state government to ensure this event does not take place.
I didn't even...
but a spokeswoman said... Oh, it says woman. They didn't... I would have said they said spokesperson.
Yes, I think it's spokeshumankind.
spokesperson is not agendered because spokeshuman has man in it.
Spokesperson has son in it.
It's,
Come on, hold these people to their own standards. Come on.
You can't, like, I don't know. I guess you can invent new English words.
Yeah.
So it says, we've given police the powers and resources they need to help them safely manage protests and mass gatherings, while people in the community have the right to express their opinions. What's that? Does the Andrews government support free speech?
They must, yeah. Yeah.
And believes police will not tolerate anyone who breaks the law.
Well, it's not really saying anything. So it's going to still happen, this concert. I wouldn't go myself, but, you know, I support it happening.
Well,
but
there's no...
They're basically just saying that we're not going to tolerate violence. Not that there would be anyway. Only if the lefties come and counter-demo it, you know?
It'd be an interesting one to do a vlog on.
Yeah. It says the Blood and On Australia group refuses to speak to journalists, believing the media is controlled by Jewish interests. And I noticed that Get Up, because they haven't done much lately, I've got a petition, we won't tolerate neo-Nazi hate. And, well, it mentions Christchurch. A violent white supremacy feels increasingly comfortable to show its face. We need to make it clear to our governments that this is unacceptable. Can you share this petition to demand the government shut down free speech? I mean, the concert. And then it mentions Dr. Devere Abramovich again. And, well, it's really taken off. It's got 1,900 signatures. So that's a lot. What happened to... Yeah. Don't Get Up have, like, 500,000 members? They'd love to sign something like that.
It's massive engagement. Yeah. Yeah, it must be Facebook censorship of Get Up. Yeah.
I'm getting text messages from Neil Erickson. He's complaining that David has got his phone off.
I don't have my phone off. Is he calling you?
I think he wants to call in. So,
yeah, call.
Neil, if you want to call in, mate, call in now. You got your chance right now.
I think you've got yours on Do Not Disturb. You got it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, because I didn't want it to disturb the thing. Like, what if somebody else sends me a message? I can keep my eye on the phone. Tell them to call again.
But
Yeah,
you
Neil,
can't you can't answer
call.
the call if it's on Do Not Disturb.
That's okay.
It goes straight to voicemail.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes. Ugh.
Bloody hell, Dave. Bloody hell.
Boomer tech here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really funny.
Yeah, apparently Neil's got some good news about his recent court cases. I don't know if you've been following his channel, but he's got some good news about that. I'll let him enlighten everyone on it. But
this has just become the best live stream ever. That's hilarious.
So Dave's managed to figure out his phone now.
Yeah, Boomer tech. Yeah.
So we are eagerly awaiting. So yeah, I'd never heard of this group, but it's given the usual suspects something to rage about, including because apparently
Here we go.
Oh, I don't know how your phone works.
Hey, what's going on, Grandpa?
Yeah,
I've been trying to call and just go straight to message.
yeah, because that's how Dave doesn't know how Do Not Disturb works. He thought he could still answer calls on Do Not Disturb, but it's like the phone is off.
It actually says it in the actual, the word, do not disturb.
I just thought it meant that my phone doesn't make a sound.
That's silent.
It's called silent.
Like, I've got mine on silent now, but people can still call me if they want.
I was like, why is Neil saying I've got my phone off? I've got it right here.
Just FYI, we've got Proud Hater in the chat again, who's come back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know who that is.
Yeah, we all know who it is, but they made a return tonight.
He's already doxed himself.
He leaked out his identity. Couldn't hold it in.
Yeah. Well, who was it?
I think they...
Oh, well, we'll talk off air. I've got an idea. Well, yeah.
Yeah, alright, so, yeah, what's up?
Can everyone hear me alright?
Yep.
Yeah.
Loud and clear, mate.
Stephanos can hear you, so it means that our audience can hear you.
I'm glad that he took that condom off his head. It looks
looks like he has African American hair at the moment. It's really thick. But anyway, guys, yeah, I was rigging up about the leader of Antifa. Have you heard about this bloke, David Hollis?
I know that he's a member of Antifa. He goes to a lot of their things. I'm not sure if he's the leader.
Apparently they all voted him in last year. He became a leader of Antifa in Melbourne.
Antifa is a decentralized group. They don't have a hierarchy.
Yeah, my ass. But anyway, this bloke, yeah, he and now I can talk. I think we should all kind of put this at the forefront of our strategy to expose the left, because they call Blair Cottrell a Nazi or criminal because of the religious vilification charge, and that no politician should ever associate with Blair Cottrell because they will be deemed an associate of some far-right, dangerous individual. And here you have a bloke, David Hollis, an unemployed, non-taxpayer, who stabbed and killed an innocent woman and 6 other people in Meadowbank back in 1991. He spent 17 months in a mental ward, and he was released. There was a massive inquiry in New South Wales. He's been going around putting intervention orders on every single patriot who dares bring this up. This is what we need to talk about. He's trying to keep it quiet because the left, I think you noticed him, they're starting to have a bit of an infight. They want to protect him, but they also know that he's going to be a problem for him in the future. But we have this actual dangerous individual who brags about having bayonets, threatening Senator Fraser Anning, carrying around grey leads, saying that you can sharpen them on the concrete and police can't take them off you. There's a multitude of evidence saying that this guy's unhinged. He's already killed before.
You see the guy who was nearly see the guy who was at the that rally, like, you know, when they were saying, oh, there was the rally where they were saying, oh, you know, the convicted racist Blair Cottrell
this was
St
Kilda,
and this guy Hollis, he was also at the rally.
Yeah, he was actually on the news, right next to the people talking and the Greens members.
He was with Sue Munro, wasn't he? Next to Sue Munro.
Yeah, that army tank. Yeah, he's always around her. But I tell you, mate, it's so shocking that the media ignore this. This is why we need to put this out there. He's just one of them. There's a multitude of others that have been armed robbers or ex-armed robbers. We've got to target them through this, because I think this is a massive, it's going to be a massive problem for him, because there's a multitude of photos of David Hollis with high-ranking Greens members. He was aligned with Harriet Singh from Morwell, the Labor MP. He was also working in the council down at Morwell after stabbing and killing a woman. And yet these people project all this crap on us when they've got a massive amount of degenerates on their side.
I saw it was a New Daily article. That's the union-backed online newspaper. They did an article about how David Hollis he'd done some petition against racism, and it just said that his name was David Hollis, no other information.
Yeah, he's been politically active for a long time. But look, today he didn't get his intervention order. I've spent 2 years with this guy. 2 years he put an intervention order on me. They rushed it through the courts in Melbourne. They didn't even give me a chance to actually contest it. They rushed it through, avoiding the legislation. He come to every single rally confronting me, and where I breached, they said I breached because he come to my protest. So I went to court at least 20 times, driving up to Morwell, driving up to Melbourne Magistrates Court, defending myself. I was found not guilty, and here he is putting intervention orders on me again. The guy's an absolute nuisance, mate, and he's a danger to a civilised society. He's a massive spastic too. He's a window licker. he rolls up the court today. You go.
Yeah, alleged window licker.
Oh, alleged. Yeah, but he's definitely a full-fledged lady killer.
Yes, that much.
Yeah, but anyway, what's going on? Good show tonight, mate.
Yeah. It's these episodes are getting more epic by the week. And now, if people want to watch a bit more about David Hollis, there's a YouTube channel called Clark McDavidson. That's got some videos about Hollis and a few other sort of not just street Antifa activists, but left wing online trolls and all those other people.
Oh yeah, that channel produces quality material. I'd advise everyone to go check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I'm not too happy about old walk boy eating a halal snake pack, mate. I think he's turning. You can't trust these brown fellows.
Did you know? What about when Blair went to the halal kebab shop?
He bought an orange juice.
Orange juice.
Yeah.
He still handed over money.
Conspiracy. Oh, well, everyone's got to make money, mate.
Yeah. We already said that it was just a lame gotcha thing.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you go. I just wanted to give you my piece about this David Hollis. Look, I think you should push it, man, because the left, they like to project, but they're the most heinous of individuals.
Yep, definitely. All right. Catch you later.
All right. Catch us later. See you, Dave. Turn your phone on, old fella.
Cheerio.
And see you, book boy.
No worries, mate. See you later.
So there you go. Yeah, that channel, Clark McDavidson. That's got a whole bunch of videos there.
Clark McDavidson. Okay, we'll check it out.
No, we've called out Proud Hater in the chat. They said one thing, but everyone's just ganged up on them now.
Oh, beautiful.
But anyway, back to more serious matters. Well, there's one more thing before we wrap up for tonight, because you know how there's...
You've got that mischievous look in your eye. What's going on this?
the rules of comedy have been rewritten.
Yeah.
And so, an alleged comedian from Australia, Hannah Gatsby, she won an Emmy for her Netflix comedy special, Nanette.
Yes, I saw the Rotten Tomatoes.
100%.
Yes, from 46 official reviewers. And was it her percentage rating was in the 20s?
Yeah, something
from
like
1,116 plebs, which, like, to me, like that sums up like the tiny minority of progressive gatekeepers who hold sway over just our information. What have we got here?
They certainly know a lot about comedy.
Are you talking about the single letters that we're seeing in the chat there?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Go down.
Am I being boomer tech again?
You're ruining that.
I'm ruining the stream, aren't I? Yeah.
Anyway, now it's not funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I
saw that before.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, continue. I keep interrupting you and not being funny.
Yes, because like I point out like stuff to you and like you get it eventually.
Right, yeah.
Like if it's something on the screen or anything.
Yeah, I'm being old man Dave.
You're actually like a dirty secret of XYZ, so you have a tech guy.
Yeah. I don't look after it.
Yeah. So like you actually don't know like much about like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Website management or anything.
I can write and I can edit and that's about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Hannah Gatsby, the critics loved it, audience thought. I actually watched about half of it, and yeah, it's just all like, half of it's referencing her, like, coming out as a lesbian.
And is the other half her just talking about her vagina? That's all that female comedians do.
No, it's it was her saying, like, having some revelations.
About her vagina?
No, she actually didn't talk about it much.
Really? Wow.
That's only, I think, straight female comedians.
Only straight female comedians talk about the vaginas. Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, we saw Dave...
Do the dykes talk about having penis envy, then?
Well, she talked about how she gets mistaken for a guy at retail outlets.
Yeah, really. Only in Melbourne. That wouldn't happen in Queensland. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then we saw Dave Chappelle. He got a 99% audience reaction, but only 29%.
Tiny minority of gatekeepers.
Yeah, and then Saturday Night Live, I'll just get the name right here. They fired a Shane Gills, they just hired him, but then they'd found out that he'd made a Chinese impression and said some...
Did he do the my father's Chinese, my mother's Japanese? You know?
Yeah, homophobic slurs.
Yeah, okay.
Which basically means, like, just making a... Oh, we've got a super chat here from Maddie's Modern Life. Happy Hanukkah.
You didn't finish what you were saying.
Oh, no, because I wanted to re-out Maddie's.
But what were you saying? Were you saying about his homophobic slurs? Like,
I didn't look up what they were, but,
Okay.
like... yeah, but,
Yeah.
you know, when somebody says homophobic slurs, it's something that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Maddie's Modern Life has sent us through a super chat of $3. Thank you. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. God bless Israel. God will bless the chosen, the Meteron and Imahim.
Elohim.
We will build
Elohim.
the third temple, and the Messiah will return to create the great kingdom. We will rule with the Gentiles. Which actually...
Gentiles.
I want to actually go back to... remember when we were talking about Greta Thunberg?
Yes.
I just want to bring up...
That's the little girl, yeah, that the climate change activist?
Yeah. So this is what Sarah Silverman, who's a alleged comedian in the United States. You think you will recognize you will recognize Jesus when he comes back? He is this girl, and you don't all even see it.
But is Sarah Silverman? Is she the one who said who made that line about Sarah Silverman? Is she the one who made that line about they accused Jews of killing Jesus, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'd do it again." That's Sarah Silverman, isn't it? Yeah. So like, and here she is lecturing the goy about white people.
Well, is she actually saying that
the goy about Jesus?
Yeah,
sorry.
Greta Thunberg is the Messiah for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Messiah.
Yes. It just reminded me of that, Maddie's super chat, and it's also on the theme of comedy because Sarah Silverman is an alleged comedian, but she also lost her job because she did a blackface sketch 10 years ago.
Of course she did.
Wow, I didn't know that. So this whole these lefties eating themselves, it's actually been happening for a while now. Justin Trudeau's obviously a very, you know, a more sort of high-class example, a more sort of big example, but there's obviously been lefties who have, you know, bit the dust because of their own standards in the past. Yeah, it's interesting.
I like, as I was saying to Dusty before, I like the idea of going Alinsky on them and holding them to their own standards. And yeah, when they start firing at each other in their little Mexican standoff, we just stay out of the way and let them do it, basically.
They've still gone after, like, Andy knows Asian privilege hasn't saved him from being called a enabler of white supremacy and right-wing terrorism.
Yeah. Well, he was taken down because he pointed out the links between Antifa and mainstream media journalists. That was a deliberate hit. Like, he revealed the truth. Yeah.
Well, he did.
That's why they went after him.
Well, he's gone independent from Quillette. They denied that he fired him, but it was interesting that Claire Lehman, the editor of Quillette, a few days later tweeted out an article about how nationalists have infiltrated conservative organisations.
Yeah, but the guy isn't even a nationalist. Like he's
Well, if you have a look at Andy No's Patreon and Subscribestar now, like he's doing pretty well on his own.
Yeah, good.
But it was funny, that article about nationalists infiltrating a conservative. Apparently, one of the examples in that article was that one of the Daily Caller journalists, he'd spoken with Brittany Pettibone.
Yeah, right. Well, David Hilton wrote a few pieces for the Daily Caller as well. And also, like, in the months leading up to Andy Ngo's article exposing the links between mainstream media journalists and Antifa, an old piece by Lucas Rosses on the XYZ got quite a lot of hits. So I'm pretty sure Ngo was was referencing it. Actually, I think he actually referenced it in his piece, and he actually used a fair chunk of Rosses's research. Yeah, because he talked a lot about the Guardian writer Jason Wilson.
The Guardian writer.
Yeah, alleged writer. Yeah. So good work, Luke.
All right, now I've gone on a segue tangent. You XYZ guys are the king of the tangents, because how did we get onto this again? It was, the eat their own. Yeah. But what I was actually getting at is Chelsea Handler, who's another alleged comedian. She was the host of Chelsea Lately on E! Entertainment.
What happened?
She has got a new Netflix documentary, which is just premiered, and I'm just going to play the trailer for this because it looks quite stunning and brave, to use the expression.
Thank you for having me here tonight. My name's Chelsea Handler, and I am as white as they come. I'm filming a documentary, as you may or may not know, about white privilege.
Oh. I'm clearly the beneficiary of white privilege. I want to know how to be a better white person to people of color. We need to talk to people who are white and stop asking black people to solve our problems. Do you think it exists?
I wouldn't say it's totally non-existent, but it's not something that I see very commonly.
But would you see it if you're white? I got caught with dime bags on me with my boyfriend Tyshawn 3 times, and every time he was arrested and I was let go. It never occurred to me that it was a racial thing. I should have known better.
The obstacles are so harder for a black person than it is for a white person.
You guys know where you come from. You know your history. We don't know that. We still don't know if we were related to kings or queens, or if we were farmers, or if we built houses. We don't know. You guys know. That's the privilege you guys have.
White people have to have the conversation with white people. And so those are hard conversations.
It's like talking about porn at the dinner table. You know? I mean, obviously at my dinner table that would be fine, but...
Lord have mercy.
You do need to learn about others, but you also have to learn about yourself.
Here I come, white people.
It's great to talk about it because you need to start somewhere. But this rabbit hole goes deep, deeper than a documentary.
Okay, so
I'm on JewOrNotJew.com.
I didn't
Chelsea,
know there was a website.
Yeah, there is. Chelsea is half Jewish and half Mormon, but she was raised Jewish.
Somebody should try and get that website taken down by complaining about the domain.
Yep.
Yeah, so she claims she's the beneficiary of white privilege, but the two most successful talk show hosts in the United States, can you name both of them?
Rush Limbaugh?
No, I'm talking about like TV, like in the entertainment industry.
Ellen,
one of them. And what's special about Ellen?
She looks like a man.
Mm.
Yeah, so she's got white male privilege. Yeah.
And who's the other?
Oh, Oprah.
Yes, Oprah. So,
who also looks like a man.
So Oprah would have more wealth and notoriety than Chelsea Handler.
Yeah.
And she still thinks she benefit, like, she's still the more privileged one.
Yeah, very well said.
I think Oprah's portfolio of work and wealth would probably disagree with that. And she was talking about her black boyfriend from her teenage years and how he got into trouble and she didn't.
I'm sure her dad put a stop to that.
Yeah, but that's always the thing, that a pretty girl always gets away with a crime while the guy gets...
Yes, she didn't have white privilege, she had pretty girl privilege.
Yes, or female privilege. Yeah. And I didn't get the bit where one of the African-American women she was interviewing said, we don't know our history. And that's not a complaint I've heard about before. That seemed
they seem to like be full on about it. Yeah, I'm just wondering if like Chelsea Handler, like one minute she'll be like saying, "Hey, I've got to take responsibility for my white privilege." The next minute she'll be saying, "Oh, I'm really concerned about the rise of white supremacy and I feel threatened by it." You know, so it's amazing that she can get up there and speak like that. She doesn't represent us.
And I will watch this documentary.
When's it coming out?
It's out now. It's on Netflix.
Okay. Is it on YouTube at all? Because I don't have Netflix, man.
It's not going to be allowed on YouTube.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, another quick tangent. Where can I watch that abortion one?
Unplanned. It's still
Yeah.
in cinemas. I think you might be able to buy it through Amazon. I'm not sure yet.
On
yeah,
torrents or something? Not hasn't been torrented yet.
You want to steal a pro-life film and deprive the filmmakers of like revenue to help make more conservative movies?
Oh, I'm in Australia, so it's a bit different. But I support the anti-abortion movement, but I still want to watch the movie for free. I just don't. Anyway, I just thought I'd ask. All good.
Stealer. All right, that brings us to the end of the show tonight. We've gone for another 2 hours. Any final thoughts, everyone?
We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children.
Oh, did you know that got put on a tweet in Q&A? It got broadcast.
Are you serious?
Yes, because Tom Tanuki was complaining about it afterwards.
Oh, that is epic.
Yeah.
Magnificent. Good work, people. There's always a way through. There's always a way through the barrier.
But it's only like things that like left tweets that seem to get through, such as somebody threw a shoe at John Howard and then 5 minutes later somebody did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then there was a tweet about it was from an account, Abbott Loves Anal.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that actually like a right-wing tweet has actually managed to get through.
Yeah, that's magnificent.
I wonder if there's
a
secret
there's always a way.
Plant in the ABC who's...
Our numbers are legion. They are everywhere. One day they will rise.
Mm. And they'll be undetectable. Did you hear also that in the Adani coal mine company, there's actually a leaker, somebody who bragged to the ABC that they're leaking against Adani?
No, I didn't hear that.
I wonder if at the staff meeting they said, oh, there's a leaker amongst us, we don't know who it is. You could probably say if there's like a worker with, say, pink hair, it's probably them. Because remember that Cambridge Analytica whistleblower had pink hair?
Yeah, I do. I can just see it at the Patriot staff meeting. There's a leaker amongst us and everybody just goes...
Jeez. Well, any recommendations on HSP places to visit? Like, what's the best one to go to?
I don't know.
In Melbourne? Anyone know any?
Yeah, tell us the show's about to end, so tell us in the comments.
Send me a message on Gab and I'll go visit it. Oh, good. Thank you.
Yes, because you've been banned from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Yeah, and I do have Instagram though. I do have Instagram. I made an Instagram. Just this girl I know made me make one. I thought it was gay, but then she's like to me, oh, there's a lot of patriotic pages you can follow, and I made it, and I'm like, wow, Instagram's pretty good. So I haven't been banned on Instagram, but my Instagram account is just Greek. It's nothing Australian, but my Gab is definitely Australian, and that's about it. Yep.
Well, you can find the Unshackled and XYZ everywhere. So at the Unshackled, we've increased our Unshackled productions. I now host a show, Wilms Front, on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Melbourne time. Well, that's when I aim for it to start. The second episode started a bit later, but that's where it's always going to be aiming to be, and it's on my own dedicated Tim Wilms channel, so you know which channel the episodes are going to go live at and at what time. So make sure you subscribe to the Tim Wilms channel and click the bell to allow notifications. On Tuesday evening, I host Trans Tasman Talk with
I still say you should change the name from trans. Maybe
reclaiming the word trans.
Yeah, you call it Trad Tasman or Chad Tasman.
Yeah, Chad Tasman's. I like that.
Yeah,
Chad Tasman's good.
Yeah, with my New Zealand counterpart, Duet de Boer. He edits rightminds.nz.
Good.
And obviously Thursday night is Unclickables night, so I'm on air 5 nights a week now, so pretty much full-time broadcaster now. So
with that and with XYZ Live on Monday nights, 9:15, there's basically no reason to watch television
Yes,
anymore.
and there's Dia Beltran live stream 8:15 Wednesday, and she's also setting up a second stream on Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Like, she's hosting a series of debates, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah. And also, Carnage House Productions, there's some new kids on the blocks, the three brothers, Dougal, Alexander, and Andy. They've got their weekly podcast, The Wrap, where they talk about the issues of the week. Dougal was on Dia's live stream last night. I suggest you watch that, because it's quite a light and entertaining discussion.
Okay. Was it as is it going to be as traumatic as seeing the that thing of Dia's that you showed me last week?
No, definitely not. Yeah, I think all of us can agree. We just saw like 3 seconds of Hogartha and we're like, done.
No, well, yeah, I will never forget that image.
Did you watch any of Hogartha, Stephanos?
Nope. Nope. Unfortunately, no, not yet.
It should have been a podcast only, I think. And of course, speaking of podcasts, this show is also now on podcast form. So you can subscribe to it on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify.
People are calling her Dia Beltrans.
Well, she has interviewed, I think, 4 trans people.
Really?
I actually advised her maybe lay off the trans for a while.
Yeah.
And we have a dedicated website, the uncockables.com, which has all the archive of episodes. And obviously, we're all now on Rational Rise TV. Dave, do you want to promote it? Because I'm sick of doing all the promotions at the end of the show.
Yeah, come to Rational Rise TV. I'm done.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be talking to James soon. I haven't even discussed it yet, but I'm going to discuss potentially joining that, see if I can re-upload my videos on that platform. So
yeah, get on it.
No promises, but there's a small chance that might happen. So I've got all my videos backed up, so I might be able to back them up on that website as well. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it's big because it's basically a place. It can be a YouTube alternative, or at least a YouTube alternative for us. It's great. Like if you want all the best material in one central location, go to Rational Rise TV.
Yep, makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, there's still the Unshackled.net and
come to xyz.net.au. Facebook is dying. Just come straight to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're also on Gab as well, both the XYZ and the Unshackled.
Yeah. We have more followers on Gab now than we do on Twitter.
Yeah, same as us.
Yeah, we're just about to hit 700.
And also, there's also Minds as well, which we're on, but Minds is...
Oh, nobody's there, but like if Gab gets taken down, everybody will go to Minds.
And the Unshackled also has a Telegram channel. XYZ doesn't, but Maddie does at the moment, as he's also set up a chat.
Yeah, good on him.
People need to remind people in Maddie's Modern Life chat that it's public chat.
Okay.
Like, he could have made it a private group, but he didn't.
Maybe you should tell Maddie that.
Yeah, so if you're in that chat, FYI, people, it's public. And that goes for you too, Maddie. All right, good night, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on the Tim Wilms channel, Melbourne time. My guest is Liam Kwaja from Young Conservatives Queensland. We're going to be talking about what it means to be a conservative in the current year, and also some of his political and geopolitical analysis issues. So that's going to be an exciting night. And XYZ Live Monday?
Yeah, Maddie and I will crap on for 2 hours. Hope you come and join us. 9:15. Should be fun.
Yeah, and Melbourne Traditionalist Podcast, is that still...
Yeah, it's going. It's just I've been a little bit busy, but it's still going. Yep.
Oh, we've got another super chat from... No, you pronounce that. I'm going to mispronounce it.
Your hirsute friend.
Yeah. $3 to help keep the lights on.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, I want to turn the lights off now because I'm getting too hot. So, good night, everybody. See you next Thursday. Are you saying goodbye, Stephanos?
Yeah, see you later. Have a good week. All the best.
Cheerio,
Thanks for the invite.
Good to see you again, man.
All right, see you later.
Till next time.
Bye.